Good evening, everybody. Good evening. It is April 8th. It's April the 8th already. This is Cutler here on the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast. I'm so thankful that you all decided to join with me and tune in this evening. Thank you for sharing whatever space you're sharing, whether it's your living room, your dining room, your bedroom, whatever it is. We only have 1,800 seconds to do it. I want to ask you all this. When was the last time you apologized? When was the last time you sincerely apologized? And did it take a whole lot out of you? Was it difficult to apologize? I want to talk about that. And then I want to take a look at really what lies within us. What value do we have that we have not tapped into, that we have not taken a look at yet? I want to talk about some introspective looks this evening, but I want to do that right after we come back. All right. I want to also acknowledge our LTTC VIPs. And so make sure if you're just joining me, share this and let's get ready to pick up a few more passengers. All right. I'll be right back.
Let's talk to God. One more thing, like, subscribe and share. Come on, let's talk to God.
All right, I'm back, and I'm so glad to see so many of you joining, hopping on in the chat, and putting on your seatbelts and buckling up for this ride, because we're going to have a great evening tonight. It is April the 8th, and again, this is Cutler, and we're having a discussion really from this book right here, Billboards to Better, 366 Daily Sources of Motivation and Inspiration Along the Highway of Life. Let me tell you all this. I am enjoying the ride. I'm enjoying having passengers along with me. I'm enjoying being in the vehicle with you. I don't know if we're in an SUV or car, a truck, an 18-passenger bus. I don't know what we're in, but we're all in it together. And I'm so thankful that you all are here with me. We are reading the billboards, trying to become better, trying to show up a little bit better tomorrow than we did today, right? Or a little bit better today than we did yesterday. Thank you all. You know, I'm here only for 1,800 seconds. Every Tuesday, we're reading quotes from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Every Thursday, we're reading quotes from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. When you get to the quote on Saturday, it's all day your way. Use it to start a conversation. Use it as a part of your meditation, whatever it is. Just make sure that you use it. And please, if this is your first time tuning in, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. And then after you subscribe, go one step further and click on the notification bell, so that way you are made aware whenever I go live, whenever I've uploaded new content, that sort of thing. And then make sure that you share this. I think we're talking about some good stuff. All right. But do me another favor and make sure as you come into the conversation this evening that you go ahead and do a thumbs up to show that you like what we're chatting about, to show YouTube that you are appreciate the conversation, the content, all that kind of stuff. I want to shout out our LTTC VIPs this evening, and they are Jackie Cares RN. She says, good evening, passengers. And then there's Linda Martin. She says, good evening, I'm on board. And then there's Audrey Winfrey, who I also call Lady. She says, hi, Gregory. So listen, thank all of you for joining. And of course, I want to shout out to my mom. She's in. I want a special shout out to Mary Grace 5. It's just good to see all of you all. Make sure that you share this, right? Make sure that you share and like, comment, and let's chit chat. Let's talk about tonight what we're going to talk about. I looked around because I was thinking maybe there's something different that I want to do this evening, and I do. As we're getting started, I want to get started by sharing a poem. I know I usually read a poem at the end, but I want to read this poem at first. And it just says, Half a Heart. It's a very short poem, and it shows up in my book entitled Who We Once Were. And the poem says, half of a heart. I can't give you a complete heart when all I have is a half. I can't give you a brand new start when the one I have is old. But I will give you all I have, knowing God will take up the slack. And if you give your heart away, I pray that God will give it back. All right, let's just go into our conversation this evening. But I wanted to get started by sharing that poem. It's titled Half a Heart, and that one is in my book, Who We Once Were. Let's go ahead with our quotes, and we're going to start chit-chatting about the quotes. Make sure that as we're chatting, that you've invited somebody to come along for the ride. You've invited them to listen to our conversation. So let's go ahead and see what the quote is for April the 7th. It says, today they see your shame, but tomorrow they will see your shine. Today they see your shame, but tomorrow they will see your shine. I find it so interesting that some people like to mock and scorn and ridicule people when they fail. And they like to kick and step on people when they're down. And sometimes I think, what kind of broken person it must be to take joy and to take pleasure in ridiculing other people when they fail and when they fall and when they experience the low moments in life. What kind of broken person it must be to enjoy that? Because the truth is, it's shameful and it's embarrassing to fail. And I know that we're working on bouncing back from our failures. I know we're doing that, and we're trying to get to a place where we can let our failures be the springboard into our successes. But if we would be truly open, then we would have to admit that it doesn't feel good to fail. It doesn't feel good to fail. It doesn't feel good to fall. It really doesn't. And really, then not on top of that, but if there are other people who find out about it, that makes it doubly worse. That makes it doubly humiliating. And one of the things that I've discovered is that you can be doing fine, you can be doing great, and you have lots of people in your corner. But the moment your success goes south, it feels like people will turn on you or abandon you. They will forget all about your success and they will act as if they never knew you. And they'll forget that they will forget that they themselves are imperfect. They will forget that they are not impervious to failure, that they cannot escape failure. And that's one of the reasons why I really try not to harp on celebrities when they fail, because the only difference, you all, between their failures and some of ours is that ours was not reported in the media. That is the only difference. Sometimes we harp on everybody's failures, but when we think about the failure of celebrities, the only difference between theirs and ours is that ours is not in the media. Was not in the media. That's why there was the recent gospel recording artist who his son or somebody in his family released all this kind of stuff. I didn't hop on the bandwagon. I didn't deal with it. I didn't try. I didn't form an opinion about. I didn't hop on the bandwagon to beat him up. I know many of us had opinions, but I didn't jump on a bandwagon to beat him up. Just didn't. Because although we may not necessarily be public figures, we may not be famous athletes or celebrities, there are times when our failures, they really are witnessed by more people than we really want to see them. Sometimes when we fail, one person is all that it takes to really bring shame and embarrassment. If I fall and nobody sees it, then great, I get up and I deal with it in private. But at least if one person finds out about my falls or my failures, that makes it bad. And the worst people to find out about your failures are those who, let's be honest, y'all, the worst people to find out about your failures are those who never wanted you to do well in the first place. I used to go around thinking, I don't have people like that, but there are people who never want you to do well in the first place. Those who sought your demise, those who seem to be envious of you for whatever reason. But when you fail trying to put your best foot forward, I want to lift us up tonight. When you fail trying to put your best foot forward, when you fail trying to do what you're doing from a place of integrity, when you fail trying to do your best when you're taking the high road, and when you may be misjudged or criticized because doing what you honestly believe was the best that you could do in that moment, this is a message for you. If that is what's happened, I want you to understand that all the people may see you failing today, and they may see your shame today. But I'm telling you all this, they will see you shining tomorrow. Because there is a tomorrow coming. Although they see you're failing today and they see what looks like shame today, I'm telling you all, when you fail in the midst of trying to do the right thing or do the right thing from a place of integrity, and sometimes it may come crashing and crumbling down, people might see your shame today, but they'll see your shine tomorrow. A tomorrow is coming where you will shine. I've lived long enough to know this, to know that Psalm 23 really is true. It's one of my favorite Psalms, but really, you all, it is true. And I've lived long enough to know that it is. God will prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemies. And that means that although you may see my defeat today, you'll see my victory tomorrow. Why? Because I was trying to do the right thing when it all came crumbling. I was trying to do what I did from a place of integrity when it all came crumbling down. So that's all right. You may see my downfall today, but you'll see my uprising tomorrow. You might see my defeat today, but you will see my victory tomorrow. And then, and then you all, and I know this to be true, and some of you all know it to be true as well. When people see you in your moments of redemption, and they see in your moments of restoration, and they see that you bounce back, sometimes they are literally shocked that you made a comeback. They are shocked because they're thinking, how in the world, what in the world happened? Because here's what I believe. Although you see me in famine today, a feast is coming tomorrow. If I keep doing the right thing and keep taking the high road and keep responding out of a place of integrity, yes, I may be in famine today, but a feast is coming tomorrow. And I don't worry about people who try to kick me while I'm down because God is still on my side. I don't give a lot of thought to enemies and to naysayers because as long as they don't triumph over me, I know that God is on my side. We can't change human nature, though. We can't change human nature. We can't stop people from being mean if they're going to be mean. We can't stop people from, we can't control people who just seem to have this innate desire to talk about people who fall and who make mistakes. But let me help us tonight. When people see you during your moment of shame, they still don't see the full you. I don't care what they see you all. Please grasp this. When they see you, even in your moments of shame, they still don't see the full you. Why? Because they're only focusing on that area that looked like failure, that looks like death, that looks like defeat, because they don't have the whole story. They only have a part of the script. So when they see you then in your moments of being restored and in those moments where your character and your reputation has been rehabilitated and your strength has been renewed, and they see you in those moments, they don't understand. And then all of a sudden they want to get back in your life, and they want to know, how did you do it? And I can't tell you how to handle people. I can't tell you who to let back in your life, but I can tell you how I respond. And I just want to share that. I can tell you how I respond to people who talked about me when I was down, but then they want to know, how did I bounce back? I just say to them, and I'm giving you all this. I'm giving you this one, as we say, for free. I just say to them, problem is you were looking at my eyes, but you forgot to check my pulse. What am I saying? I know it looked to you when my eyes were closed, it looked like I was down and out, and it looked like I was dead. And you were only focusing on this part of me. But what you forgot to notice was that there was still success flowing through my veins. There was still hope flowing through my veins. There was still opportunity for better. There was still somehow this little inkling that says it's going to be all right. So let them look at you. And when I say they don't see the full you, they only see part of the script. They're so busy focusing on what looks like death, what looks like it's all finished, what's all over and it's done. And there's a part of you they forget to check. All right? I wanted to share that with you because sometimes the truth is we go through life and we hit those moments and it looks like we aren't going to bounce back. You're going to bounce back as long as you're doing the right thing and you're acting from a place of responsibility and rightness and integrity. You are going to bounce back. All right. Hang on to that. Hang on to that. All right. I want to get to the quote for you. All know we're reading from this book. Our quotes are coming from this book, Billboards to Better. 366 daily sources of motivation and inspiration along the highway of life. I'm telling you, that quote for April 7th really hit me in a space and a place as I was looking at it that it is the story of my life. I'm telling you, I've lived long enough to see Psalm 23 and verse 5 come true, that God will prepare a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. And you know what? It is not even about my enemies. It's just a reminder to me that God is on my side. All right, I want to go on to the quote for April the 8th. I want to move to the quote for April the 8th. Tell me if you all like that, if you enjoyed that conversation, that dialogue. Let me know if it speaks to you, if it encourages you, if it inspires you, because you all know in this time, I don't want to waste your time. I have to make, as I often say, every second significant, every minute matter, and every moment meaningful, because I value the fact that you choose to spend this time with me. So I want to go to April the 8th, and the quote says this: Nothing mends a relationship like repentance. Nothing mends a relationship like repentance. One more time. Nothing mends a relationship like repentance. And I say that because two of my most favorite and what I think are two of the most powerful words that I will have ever heard in this life are, I'm sorry. I think that those are two of the most powerful words that I will have ever heard in this life. Because I don't care how powerful, how rich, how smart, how successful, how popular, how holy, how famous, or how influential a person might be. If the words I'm sorry it's not in his or her vocabulary, then if it's not in their vernacular, then I'm less impressed with their success and more concerned about their character. None of us has dotted every I or crossed every T. None of us has gotten it all right the first time. None of us have ever won every race that we set out to finish. None of us have ever been without failure. None of us have ever been without making a mistake. And I want to offer this. I don't know why the next book just keeps trying to leap out, but you all, here is what I have to say about that. The I'm sorry being powerful words, and the fact that none of us have ever made a mistake. Grab this. A failure to admit a mistake is one of the biggest mistakes that you'll ever make. A failure to admit a mistake is one of the biggest mistakes that we will ever make. It takes you all a conceited person not to be able to say, I'm sorry. I just don't know any other way to say it. And if that offends you, I'm so sorry. But it takes a very conceited person not to be able to say, I'm sorry. That's beyond arrogant. That's beyond audacious. It is beyond having moxie. That's just outright conceited. I'm sorry means I was wrong. It means that I brought something upon your life that I had no business bringing. It means that I am guilty of causing something to have become broken. That's what it means. I was wrong. I brought something on your life that I had no business bringing. I'm guilty of causing something to have become broken. That's what I'm sorry means. And then I think that running a close race with those two words has to be three more words. Please forgive me. So you hear I'm sorry, but then a close race has to be please forgive me. And these two phrases, they sometimes go hand in hand, because after I confess that I brought brokenness upon your life, then the next thing, please forgive me, makes me vulnerable to say that. Because it puts me in a place where you now have control as to whether our relationship will be reconciled. This is why people have a difficult time sometimes saying, I'm sorry, and then please forgive me. Because for me to say, please forgive me, it says, you forgive me if you please. Forgive me if it pleases you. It makes me vulnerable. I am no longer in charge of our relationship. You are the one in charge of the relationship because I brought the offense to you. And so now I have to make myself vulnerable by saying, it's up to you if you want to reconcile the relationship. Why? Because I did wrong. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. May I remind us, because a lot of times people have issues with saying, I'm sorry, and with saying, please forgive me. But there seems to be something about the ego, something about feeling vulnerable. I don't know if it's a challenge for us, but it sometimes gets in the way of us saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me. But may I remind us this evening that unless we can cross, these quotes are coming to my head, unless we can cross the bridge of repentance, we'll never stand on the foundation of a relationship. Unless we can sit in the seat of repentance will never sit at the table of relationship. Because it takes, when there has been an offense, it takes repentance before relationship can be renewed. And when people seek your forgiveness, understand that it may look different for all of us, because it is okay. It's okay to offer forgiveness. And we can have a relationship, but the relationship doesn't necessarily have to look like it did before. Because I posted at some point on social media, I was quoting another one of my quotes in terms of, just because I offer you forgiveness, it doesn't mean that you have access back into my life. It means that maybe the record is clear, but we don't have to pick up the same way. But at least once you cross the bridge of repentance and you can stand on the foundation of relationship, at least once you sit in the seat of forgiveness, then we can have, or repentance, then we can have a table of relationship. Table might not look the same, but at least it will be there. All right. So that's why I opened this evening's dialogue, and I was asking, do you sometimes find it difficult to apologize? Do you find it difficult to say, I'm sorry? And then when people ask you to please forgive them, do you find it difficult to say, yes, I forgive you? I just wanted to know that. You can put that in the chat. I'd be so curious to know where you all stand on that. If you find it difficult, one, to say I'm sorry, and then if you find it difficult to receive or accept apologies. But understand this, just because you give or you accept an apology, it does not mean the status quo has been renewed and that person has to have access back into your life. It means that, okay, I forgive you, but I can forgive you and move on. Just thought I'd share that with you. Yeah, I can forgive you, but I know how to move on. All right, so I want to go to the next quote. Again, if you're just joining the conversation, thank you all so much for spending time with me. I only have a few more seconds, but yes, we are talking about these quotes from Billboards to Better. If you want to get it, it's over on Amazon.com. You can run to my website, which is www.gbcutler.com, and pick it up. All right, I want to go to our next quote for the evening, for April the 9th, and that's for tomorrow. But here, take this one. Yeah, so I'm reading what you're saying. You're absolutely right in terms of what makes it so difficult for people to ask for forgiveness. You're right. Sometimes it is our pride. Sometimes it is our ego. And you're right. Sometimes you can just forgive them. I'm loving this. Sometimes you can just forgive them and love them from a distance. Great chat, all great responses. You're absolutely right. Sometimes when people ask for forgiveness, they come with conditions. If I ask for forgiveness and then I get the forgiveness, I get to go back in the same way I was. No, not necessarily, because guess what? Since you created the offense, now the restoration of the relationship is up to me. It is up to me. And yeah, you all are right. We have to have a sincere heart when we do all of these things. I love this chat, by the way, because have you ever heard people who really don't know how to apologize? I'll get to the quote for April the 9th, but have you ever heard people who don't know how to apologize? People say, I'm sorry if I. No, that is not an apology. It is not. You don't say I'm sorry with condition. I'm sorry if I offend. No. I'm sorry for what I did. I'm sorry that my actions brought offense to you. I'm sorry that my actions brought some kind of brokenness into your life. I'm sorry that my actions did something to you that I had no right doing. That's what an apology is. You don't come with an apology that says, I'm sorry if I hurt you. No, because then you're questioning as to whether you offended me. I'm telling you that you offended me. So you don't say, if I. No, you don't do that. So yes, you're right. It has to be sincere. And it is wonderful that some of us don't have issues with either one. I think that is absolutely great, because you're right. It comes when it comes time to do so. It is a sign of spiritual maturity. It is a sign of emotional maturity. It is a sign of wholeness when you are able to offer an apology and say, you know what, I'm sorry. And then to open yourself to be vulnerable, to say, please forgive me. Because guess what, you all? If they don't forgive you, you've done your part. It's up to them. You've done right because you've made every effort to make a wrong now right. All right. Yeah, I just hear people sometimes trying to apologize, and even their ego and their pride gets in the way of the apology. And I think, God, is it so hard? But guess what? When you've been done wrong, when you have been offended enough, then you realize that when you offend others, it is easy to offer an apology. All right, got to get to April the 9th. I'm going to get to April 9th. You all, please, yes, make sure that you share this conversation. And for people who find it difficult to apologize, point them to this discussion this evening, okay? Let's go on to our quote for April the 9th. It says this. I'm excited about the conversation this evening. This quote says, people can't see your roots, but they can always see your fruit. They can't see your roots, but they can always see your fruit. If you really want to know why I come here and I share this space twice a week, it is because I have worked on me for a long time. And I understand and recognize that people are going to see the real you, whether you want them to or not. We have all heard the saying that you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you all, guess what? When it comes to your character, when it comes to the essence of who you are, when it comes to how you respond and how you show up and how you be and how you react, there aren't a lot of people that you're fooling. Let's just tell the truth. You're not fooling a lot of people. People see how you show up. They see how you respond. They see how you treat others. They see what is the essence of who you are. They see that. So no, we're not fooling a whole lot of people. And for as much as we may try to hide the roots of our character, people will see. We may try to hide the roots, but people will see the fruit when it ultimately comes out. So we can't get upset with people if they don't like the look, the taste, the feel of our fruit. If we want people to accept our fruit, then maybe we need to change the root of who we are. Maybe we need to plant ourselves in some better soil. Maybe we need to water our roots just a little bit more. Maybe we need to add, I grew up in the country, my great-grandfather and grandparents, they were farmers. Maybe we need to add a little fertilizer and nutrients to our roots. What am I saying? Maybe we need to spend time becoming better. Maybe we need to get clarity about who we are and how we can show up more positive. Maybe we need to do a little more introspection and realize that we have a whole lot of beauty that we have not allowed the world to see. Maybe we need to do inventory of the things that are on our internal shelves and discover that there is value that lies within. People see what we show. Catch this. And sometimes we show what we show because we don't know what lies within us. That's where I'm going for us, for all of us in the vehicle this evening. That's where I'm going. Sometimes we show what we show because we don't know what lies within us. And that's why we're riding down the highway together. That's why we're reading these billboards, because it is my hope that the billboards will remind us and even reveal that we are full of gifts and talents and beauty and power and value. That's why I wrote this. That's why I've worked on me. That's why I've opened myself to be inspired to realize that we're full of gifts, talents, beauty, power, and value. And when we realize that, then we can show that, to remind us that we have so much more to offer the world. That's why if you ever go, please take the opportunity. If you ever go to my main page that's here on YouTube, the first thing you will see in my main description, it says, forget my degrees, forget my books. What I really want you to know is that I have a heart that feels and ears that listen. Because, where are these books? If you never pick up one of these books that I wrote, that's not what's most important to me. What's most important, let me make sure they don't fall. What's most important to me is that when I spend time with another human being, whether it's in this setting or offline, what's most important to me is that I touch somebody's life, that I make a difference in somebody's life, that I remind somebody that there is hope that we can hang on to, that I remind somebody that inside each of us, there is a life that makes a difference here on this earth. That's what's important to me. That is what's so very important to me. So when I consider this quote that people can't see your roots because people can't see your roots, but they can always see your fruit. Sometimes we don't show what we show because we fail to remember and to know what's inside of us. And so it is my goal. It is my earnest desire that each time we come into this space, that I help us to reveal what is inside of us. All right, you all, I've enjoyed this time, this space, and I don't know why I want to tear up with all of this, because it comes from my heart. It really does. Sometimes people don't try to help pull the better out of you, and then you realize you live life, and then you reach back and you try to do for others what you would have only hoped that someone would have done for you, or what seems we have done later in life than you really wish. But it's not about when it comes out. It's not about when it is seen, but it is the fact that you really do see it. I don't care if you don't realize your value until you're 99, as long as you realize it, that's what's most important. All right. I want to close. I got one more poem, if you all will allow me. I want to close. I know I'm a little over my 1800 seconds, but I want to close by sharing this one more poem with you. And it says, I know what people are thinking. So when I talk about really wanting to touch the hearts of people, I really want to get inside the hearts and minds and allow them to see mine. That's why this poem says, I know what people are thinking. No, I don't think I know or hope I know. I know that I know what thoughts they think, feelings they feel, dreams they dream, and hopes they hope. I know what people are thinking. Why? Because I am them and I am with them. I have been where they were. I can be where they are. I should be where they will be. I am every man, woman, and child that I don't know, every brother and sister whose blood doesn't flow through me, in me, or with me. I'm every man who makes a mess and seeks redemption, every woman who weeps for her transgression, every child who has been chided for choosing the wrong direction. I know what people are thinking when they smile, laugh, and cry, when they live, love, and die. I know what people are thinking when they are hurt and never healed, when they are emptied and never refilled. I know what people are thinking when their wounds find some mending, when their sorrow finds no ending, when their happiness finds no shame, and when their conscience finds no blame. I know what people are thinking when they smile through their tears, when they rejoice through their fears, when they rid themselves of strife, when they finally and fully appreciate life. I know what people are feeling, hoping, dreaming. And yes, I know what people are thinking. I want to thank you all for spending these 1800, a little more than that, with me this evening. And from my heart to yours, please know that there is much love, you all. And until we next meet in this space, please keep your heads up, keep your hopes up. Let's continue to build community. Let's keep maintaining connectivity. Stay safe and stay sane. Good night. Much love to you all.